Hi everybody, welcome to Materia D&D, where we play D&D our way, and this is the first rolling of 2023. So we've been gone for about a month because of holidays in the Western world. There's going to be a bit of a recap just for my sake, for my player's sake, and then we'll get rolling here. But essentially, in the most recent events of the story of the Crass Menagerie, our band of heroes in the realm, or in the world of Materia, in the nation state of Kled right now, on the continent of Rune, the Menagerie have, in the last few months, been dealing with the aftermaths of uh, dis- dispelling, I guess you would say, dispersing a cult. Um, a dragon cult that was headed by the upper echelon of society over in a town called Carver. This happened many months ago, but the rebuilding process we quick played. And as a result of their actions, Carver has been liberated from an oppressive uh, group that was led by an individual known as Maxime Laurent, and he was the head member of the Tefra Shelf. He was also the head of the Dragon Cult. Oh no, coincidences. Um, but in their struggle to defeat Maxim and the Dragon Cult, they also encountered I guess you would say, the patron of that Dragon Cult previously, and it was Aristotar, the insert a million titles that they gave themselves. Uh, but a green dragon that layered in the Snoring Mountain, which loomed over Carver proper. After defeating it, its essence managed to escape and become part of the atmosphere around Carver. And the cult was going to use their magics and what knowledge has been imparted to them over their time worshiping or this Aristotar to potentially bring them back or do something, because it conjured a storm of vengeance that had the essence of this dragon. But anyways, the Menagerie managed to thwart all this. So then there was a few, or like 3 or 4 months of recovery, and through some of that, Rock, our turtle wizard, was in a coma, but came to. And then the next steps for the Menagerie were to head back to Whitlaw, the crossroads capital of the nation Kled, a massive metropolis that has over 64,000 regular inhabitants, and the population swells with traders and merchants and everything. There, they were working with an ally, a tavern keep, not a tavern keep, sorry, a shopkeep of Tabard, who also has some other interesting elements to his backstory that the Crass Menagerie maybe has some inkling of, but has never really been able to confirm anything. Um, One of the main hints of this was through Dragnar's shadow visions. Uh, but beyond that, they managed to meet with their friend Tabard. They managed to discuss what has happened, uh, to um, to hand him over a very dangerous, recently made relic, I guess you would call it, a prison for a very dark soul that is now sealed away in Tabard's collection. Um, and the Menagerie were able to, well, do some things around Whitlaw. And one key point of interest was the Heralds of Exploration, and their work to the west in the open plains, where they have been for years and years and years looking at rundown ruins, searching for forgotten relics, hints to the past, be it more recent with the thousand year Black War, or even beyond that. And due to activities in the open fields, which is outside of the nation of Kled, the Heralds of Exploration to flee. Uh, and with them, they were trying to take as much of what they've dug up with them back to town because Whitlaw, being such a massive metropolis, has a large museum that is curated by an organization known as the Unveilers. And the Unveilers are uh, one responsibility that they put upon themselves is chronicalizing history and keeping it intact and understanding the past and making sure dangerous things from the past do not uh, get exposed to society. But this is all done under the guise of the museum. And in the museum, uh, the Heralds of Exploration, the Unveilers, and the College of Fascinations, who their headmaster is Yorn, or Butcher Yorn, which introductions were flubbed there because our party failed to understand the code that someone was trying to get them to make it an easy entrance. But anyways, they did manage to meet with everybody that's important in this respect. And the menagerie made their way down into the alabaster vaults underneath the alabaster repository, which is the museum, where they saw some of the things that have been collected over time um, from the West. And in that time down there for a day or so, they did witness and I'm kind of jumping a little bit, but they did witness I don't know if you want to say the birth, the genesis, we'll say a genesis, the genesis of a celestial being. Something that was completely unexpected, but it turned out that something in one of the ruins was taken a long time ago and hidden from where it belonged. And once it was exposed, it began to function again, and a celestial began to form. Uh, avoiding avoiding any conflict, luckily, the celestial did depart, and the menagerie did earn some trust with everyone down there, though it was tenuous because of this stressful situation. And it did not help that the leader of the Unveilers, Ufuma, uh, was very strict and regular. Was very strict and rigid at their first interaction with the group. But later, with discussions with Ofuma and Headmaster Yorn and the Menagerie, a understanding and I think a respect was gained. So much so that and this is where we're going to get now to a proper recap. The Crass Menagerie were basically asked if they would be willing to assist the the extraction of the Adventurers League, some of the Unveilers. I said Adventurers League, excuse me, the Heralds of Exploration, some of the Unveilers, and some of the assets from the College of Fascinations that were in the West, based off, you know, how they acted in the museum, the growing tales of their heroic deeds in Carver and previously in Greenhill and even before then in Volpine. Uh, and an understanding and an agreement was made with the Unveilers after they had some time to think about it. Uh, so the menagerie is in the process of, uh, well, is in the process of preparing to go to the west, to go to the city of West Green, one of the four cardinal direction cities of Cled, and it is on the border with the open plains. The open plains is a neutral territory where many small tribes and nomadic bands and who knows what else tries to eke out a living there. Um, and it just happens to be that due to the history of Cled, there are untold spoils and secrets and mysteries and relics of old that could be found there. Rather than departing directly after agreeing to help, uh, discussions were brought up that there could be a forgotten teleportation circle in Whitlaw, as Whitlaw is hundreds and hundreds of years old, and the current Whitlaw was built on top of older portions of Whitlaw. and some documentations and some secret lore that the Unveilers have access to strongly suggests that below the Kneeling District so one of the eastern districts here in Whitlaw, I can actually bring up the map, that there is evidence that supports there being a forgotten teleportation circle. So, doing some quick calculations amongst the group, they determined that spending a few days searching for this before departing is worth their time. And they went and rested, and the next day they met up with their contact on the eastern side of Whitlaw, Zahid, a and a older, I would say androgynous Leonin that Karos has interacted with in the past. Someone that Karos respects from the deeds that they've done, and someone that should be long retired, not to say long retired, but should be long retired, and continues to function as a valuable asset in a rather dangerous practice of mercenary work. There, Zahid was working as a contact and helping a few loyal members of the Root, which is an organization that is part of the military forces of the Verdant Cause that are specifically tasked with maintaining the sewers, the cisterns, the underworkings of Whitlaw, because it is potentially a a weakness of the city. There, the menagerie in the morning of Everly the 10th, I think. I can check the calendar.
Yep.
Hey, cool. I remember the date. That's kind of scary. They met with Zahid, who was accompanied by 2 Root members, Maggie and David.
Well, real quick.
Mhm.
So I have the 10th as when we were listening in on the conversation. If you're saying there was an extra day, then it would be the 11th. But also in my notes, I don't have it as being on an extra day. I have it. We did that early, and then Zahid we met with kind of midday of that same day.
That's what I thought, right?
Okay.
So
Okay. It sounded like you were saying something else. It sounded like you were saying
no,
we.
I may have misspoken.
Okay. Then yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
is the
may have
10th.
misspoken. Okay, cool, perfect. Sorry. It's all right, wife. Look into it. She's blowing. She just needed to know something. Okay. So now the menagerie, Zahid, and the Root members have worked their way down into part of the Kneeling District, which is the worship portion, the portion of town of this metropolis where there are numerous temples to various gods of the 11 from the pantheon, where many people still live, and it is a slightly older portion of Whitlaw itself. There is the beautiful botanical gardens, which kind of bridge the gap between the central district and the Kneeling District, providing a fresh sense of color and the greenery and the liveliness. But beyond that, we find the menagerie underground, following old waterways, and illuminated by torchlight and magical sources of light. The sounds of trickling waters, sewage runoff or drainage runoff. The menagerie had found themselves in a portion that the Root has not investigated in some time, and on the first glimpse, they see that it is essentially a city long forgotten, or elements of a city long forgotten. There's some old streets under here. There's some old stonework buildings that have, the integrity of the bricks and the stones that were used have kind of almost like melted and kind of merged together due to the moisture, though still standing. There are steps and corridors and alleyways. There's, well, they are underground in an underground city portion at least. Um, the menagerie, this area that they are is proven to be probably a large area, maybe like a square or something. And the menagerie then took it to themselves to start branching out and splitting up. Uh, Dregnar handing out little bits of chalk that he keeps on his person that he's able to create thanks to uh, his skill set. And and then the menageries began to kind of spread out and start marking where they've been. Uh, right before we took a break for the holidays, I had my players roll an investigation roll, and down here in the dark, and it doesn't necessarily smell too bad because there is still, I guess, some air moving through, and who knows how many, there are actually like probably openings from above or to the side that actually do let air come in, water trickle in, and who knows. They did an investigation check. No one really did too great. Karos, 18 for a total of 18. Sorry, whatever it was. I don't remember what you rolled, but for a total of 18. And then Rock, the hit a 32 because he's got a lot of brain stuff going on. So as you guys are down here, let me try to get kind of back to the reference page that we were on. So we are back here. And then if you scroll to the second half of this, you'll see kind of like some influence or kind of inspirations for what this area might kind of look like. Um, Kind of spreading out and branching out amongst yourselves, amongst the space. Not nearly as cramped and congested as these images would impose, but you guys are really not seeing much outside of, again, like old stone, signs of erosion from water. There are some indications that this was a on the surface at some point, or that the current healing district was not built upon this. You see, you know, like a broken, like clay pot. You maybe even see like an old abandoned. It looks like a simple doll that was stuffed with uh, hay, and it's kind of become almost like rotted away just due to the moisture. Uh, and there's really not much going on. As you continue spreading out, mentally linked. That's another thing I forgot to mention. That Rock did put up telepathic
Telepathic
bond,
bond.
so y'all are able to keep tabs on one another. Um, yeah, there's really nothing. And then over the bond, you kind of get Rock. Uh, kind of maybe Rock has found something. He's like, guys, I see something. I don't know what I'm necessarily looking at. And Rock, there's a few things. It does. You are in a more open space than, again, like the images indicate. From time to time, you do get some movement of air, and there's that constant sound of like the trickling and running waters. Because you are essentially, if you're not in a sewer and drainage system proper, the the current drainage systems were built kind of maybe like cutting through this portion of the underground city or around it. So there's elements where it kind of uh, definitely its presence is known. Water dripping, uh, old city before you, light illuminating from your light spells and can't and such. You do see that there are actually some signs of life down here, outside of what you would, say like your insects and your maybe your rodents and other things that do call it home, nesting bats and everything that do use this as a place of, refuge until the evening comes out. But as everyone's so focused looking down or in their investigations, and you've kind of found yourself, as you do once in a while, Rock, kind of aimlessly looking around, just taking in everything around you, and you kind of look up. And as you're looking up, you're seeing that there's roots that have kind of busted their way through down here. And you see that It kind of sprawls out amongst the ceiling, and there's a large network of roots all throughout. And there's it seems to maybe be supporting something or holding something. And as you're kind of looking around and trying to get a feel for everything, it allows you to kind of take in the area a little bit better. And there's you see markings, maybe not necessarily chalk, but as you get closer to them, you do see that there are other markings made by something at some point. But they do have some color to them. Um, you get close to it, and maybe it's like a, a, a paint or something, and you do see there's little like tick marks or little like little indications that others have been down here, but you're not maybe not too long ago, but definitely not very recently. Is there anything you want to do or let your party know?
Yeah, I'd immediately tell everyone, hey, come here. I think I found something. Do I recognize any of the markings? Anything?
With the 32 investigation, there's you know that they're almost kind of in a way similar to how you guys were marking that you've been somewhere. And based on maybe some of the crude shapes of them and the different colors that they use, they might be kind of indicating. I'm not gonna make you do an intelligence check because you are smart. You're able to kind of put together that maybe they're like a navigation, like a little roadmap in a way. Like if you go here, turn back. If you go here, go straight. Or if you go here, turn left. Stuff like that.
It's a mall map. You are here.
Kind of, yeah.
Where's the Spencer's
Okay.
gift?
Yeah, no, take me to the nearest
Hot topic, jeez.
Okay, so you say that you're looking for no. Okay,
Where's the
but yeah,
Sam
like
Goody in this place?
yeah. So, but yeah, like Rock, what you're saying is like essentially like let's say you guys were just using like your standard like white chalks. You see that whoever was marking this, be it with maybe some food bait or yeah, like berry based paints or dyes or something, have kind of similarly, though not like obviously it's not a very large marking. It's pretty small and pretty easily to overlook, especially in like the dark, the dim lights. And if someone was walking through here with torchlight, it still might, be obscured by the natural shadows down here. Um, so, uh, but as you mentioned something over the bond, do we remember, were any of the root members or Zahid bonded mentally with you guys?
Yes, everybody but David.
Okay.
And then my notes said that they would be with Maggie anyway, so like that would be the share.
Gotcha.
Which I assume
So,
that meets the right number, right? Because you can have, is it 8 in addition to yourself, or is it 8 total?
on. Up to 8 willing creatures of your choice within range.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. The 6 of us plus Zahid and Maggie.
One of them. Got it. Okay. So as Rock is beckoning you guys over, Zahid and Maggie and David definitely do make their way to you, um, as I would imagine the rest of the crew does, but not let me know. And in this space, you're kind of pointing out the markings, and now you know to kind of keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, I'm sure
And
Dragnar would take a particular interest since he was the one like marking our path constantly in the mountain and such.
exactly, that's a fair point. And yeah, these are it kind of works out. Like we'll just say Dregnar for the sake of it. He'll take a note of one of the markings and kind of walk off a little bit of a way and run into another, alleyway that seems to dead end. And he'll look at it And there is indeed actually some ways before it dead ends, a little notch, kind of like a colored marking that maybe would be what would indicate a dead end. And he tries to find another one, and it takes, you know, maybe about 5 minutes for him to find another one, but it does seem to indicate that, yeah, there is a system that some group or someone has been down here at some point and has been kind of slowly, maybe, or they've been marking and mapping this area out.
Well, that should help, I assume.
Are there any markings that look like don't go down this way? You'll get by something scary.
I'm still with your
Do you
32.
think they look animalistic?
Well, just then, like I mean, just danger in general.
Yeah, there's him. No, so they don't look animalistic. They look like, honestly, like someone either took like a paintbrush or maybe something similar to chalk, something that's just different, has different colors, and just marked it. If that's what you mean by is it look animalistic?
Mm.
And no, as far as what you can see right now in the small, the area that you guys have explored, um, the main indicator is either like a dead end, um, or like maybe a direction that you can take that like either go right or left. I don't really, or straight. There hasn't been anything as of right now that stands out as danger.
Here's the. Do you make these markings? Do you know anything about these? Or, I don't know, Maggie, David, you guys close?
Uh, um, no, not me. This
Have you
is,
seen them?
uh, in one other portion, but it's, not nearly as many as down here.
Hmm.
Thought maybe, uh, I don't know, kids coming down here and, messing with something, but no, not like this, where this is significant. This looks like your friend said, maybe someone did.
Do you know of anybody who may have been coming down here doing this stuff? Off book? Or even on the book? I don't know.
Maggie would speak up and say, "Oh, that's not any markings that we use down here." And I mean, it's possible that there's, who knows, a, a merchant group down here, or some refugees hiding out, or some people trying to avoid. We may have. We need to. I don't know. This could be a whole lot of things. We could have found something bad potentially, or this could be harmless, and this was from a long time ago.
I'll look at Al and be like, could these be like magical? Do you want to check that out maybe?
Yeah. Most of the ones I've seen so far are lines, but have I noticed any that are, symbology in
Um,
nature?
we'll say no right now.
Also, I meant that
Go
quite
ahead.
literally.
Oh,
Like, couldn't they actually be magical markings?
yeah.
On that note, I don't know. It's been more than 10 minutes since
It certainly has
Ron's
been for 10
investigation.
minutes. Yeah.
Shit. Nah, I'm not gonna recast it if I didn't notice anything up front.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check then
Okay.
to see if there's any magical.
13 total.
Okay. Honestly, they just look like a system of, right, left, straight, stop, go back. At least from what like you've been able to ascertain with the group, they just seem to be like little indicators of like how to navigate this potentially, um, I don't want to say like a labyrinth because it's not a labyrinth, but kind of like a maze-like place.
Mhm.
And as you guys are kind of gathered around, you know, um, working your ways, kind of working forward, going a little bit deeper into this. Rock, you still look up and you just see that, for the most part, while like not the entirety of the spaces above you is roots, like from the different various plants that might be growing above. But there is a large, again, so that large network of roots is above head. What are you guys doing? What are you guys looking for? What's on your minds?
I think while following the group, I think I would be looking up at the roots.
Okay.
Not for anything specifically, but I just think that up is
Yeah.
a direction that not everybody's looking, so I might as well have one of us.
Okay.
And I
So
also
looking.
want to look at the roots a little bit too.
Oh, sure. They are, they're not necessarily within reaching. You are looking up, and you're relying on the light that you guys are providing. So go ahead and give me a perception check or a nature check, depending on whatever you want to do.
Sure. I'm definitely not a perception check. You said what was the first
Or
one?
nature.
Yeah, or nature. You'll find different things out depending on which one you do.
I need to step out for a couple minutes, but I will be
Yeah.
back.
Gotcha.
Tree falls on Rock, he's dead.
Oh no.
Not like this. I rolled pretty good. 27.
Nice.
Perception.
Yeah. 18 plus 9.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay.
Always.
So, all right. So as you guys continue kind of moving together, still kind of branched out, fanned out, keeping an eye out for the symbols, or the little markings, I should say. Still, Dragnar is still being very diligent in marking where you guys have gone, just in case. You every once in a while take your time and look up and kind of scan, and you do see that different parts of the ceiling. So where's my hands? The camera's like way down here. Okay, so like different parts. I got my peer like oh no, you can't see my hands. Different parts of the ceiling are asymmetrical. There's parts that start going higher, and parts that have kind of fallen down further or have more of a recess down. And there is the roots. There's like the roots and bottoms of the plants still are exposed. And one thing that you notice is that just a little bit ways ahead of you, there's actually like a decent trickle of water. Just kind of, and you can kind of see it like it happens to be thanks to the light that you guys have. It's not like running down any wall. It's almost just like falling from the ceiling, kind of falling straight down.
Are we underwater? Is there like water or like a fountain up there?
I mean, there's no like rivers or lakes or anything, I don't think, so it would have to be something like that. Right?
Is there sewer systems in
Well,
Whitlaw?
we've been navigating through water, drainage and slight sewer systems. Part of it.
Oh, I was thinking it was more like the space in between the. I meant like on individual. Like I know that it would have like water drainage throughout the whole thing, but I meant like not like everybody would have their own toilets, but like a block would have a place to. Or do they just toss their shit into the streets?
No,
Like
the nice thing about that's a good point. Yeah, so the nice thing about Whitlaw is that they do have some societal systems in place, right? Being a metropolis of this size.
It's not a D&D campaign until you get to the lengthy discussions upon what does the waste management system of this large metropolis city look like.
Exactly.
What does logistics look like?
Yeah.
So without going into too much detail, no, there's not shit on the streets. How they organize it, I don't know. Make it up, right?
Magic.
Yeah, right.
What's their sales tax like?
They just have prestidigitation clerics who come around and empty chamber pots magically.
Yeah. But that being said, this is a point of interest and it does kind of draw you. You guys are discussing amongst yourselves. You do see, Maggie would say, no, there's not any if I have my mental map correct, I don't think there's any real like drainage pools or anything above us that I can think of. We are. Go ahead.
Is this a really moisturous part of the sewer? I'd even say that out loud.
It's like, I mean, maybe we. I don't know the last time that Root has swept down here to look. That's kind of why we're here with Saeed, to try to look at places that aren't that well maintained, because you think that if there's gonna be a, and she kind of looks around, forgotten teleportation circle, it'd be somewhere where people don't often look.
That's true.
And then what was your total perception again?
27.
What are you talking? Looking up and kind of seeing what the runoff is. It I'll say, if you allow me, your curiosity kind of takes a little over you a little bit, and you kind of go and you kind of put your hand and try to catch some of the water, kind of put it up and smell it. It doesn't smell dirty. It doesn't smell like it would be, runoff or anything too gross. Letting the group know.
Yeah, I'll turn back to them and be like, this is fresh water. This is like drinkable water.
Drink it.
Be my guest.
And then does anyone that is proficient with survival?
So just Dragner, I think.
I mean, yeah, and
Does
I don't
Dragon Ball
know.
trades count?
Yeah, it always is. And I think Karos is proficient with survival, if I remember right.
Oh.
Yeah, he is.
My immaculate +3.
Okay, let me roll for Zahid. Okay, Zahid. Wow, I rolled a 9, and okay, cool. All right, that's not too bad. So, kind of discussing and talking about it, like you'll see that there'll be a little bit of a discussion that Maggie, David, and Zahid have, and you kind of gleam and overhear this, and I mean, we couldn't be too far off perhaps one of the gardens, correct? And then you look at the part. I mean, there are there's at least 24 medium-sized gardens above.
In the Kneeling District? So like prayer gardens or some shit?
Yeah, that's when you overhear it, and you guys kind of look, and he's like, yes. Often many of the temples and maintain some sort of garden. There are possibly wells or little ponds. Perhaps it's just runoff from above. Perhaps there's a leak or a break or something. Maybe that's all that this is. But if this is, that means that we're at least, we could perhaps in the future map out where this spot is in reference to above us. But it's interesting. Uh, they're just trying to understand what's going on here as well, right? Because they have
Yeah.
not been down here either.
I mean,
I could at least be sure that this dampness is not foul of any essence. You know, it's not foul.
Yeah. And Zahid was say, I suppose we continue trying to follow the markings.
Yeah, sorry, my curiosity just took over from me for a second. Let's
No,
please be on our way.
fine. And as you guys are kind of walking by, continuing like kind of watching the markings and following that. But before you get too far away, says you do kind of look up again, and then now that you have the light in a different spot, you do see that there is actually a new type of marking that almost is within proximity of the little trickle of water. that almost is, if we were to say like these were like arrows that they were using, because they're more like just generic like little marks or little like little squares or some very basic geometric shapes. Maybe part of it is shaded in and another part is empty or a certain color. Yeah, it does seem to indicate that there is a marking that does recognize this water trickle. Um,
Dragnar,
that's
definitely
about it.
note that.
Got it.
I'll point that out and they'll be like, it's probably just like a landmark for their map making purposes. Sounds good to me.
Seems like
So
it's
continue.
been around for a while though. If we're still next to it, can I see if there's sitting water, if it goes into a channel, anything like that?
Oh yeah,
Is
so
there
you
a
look
puddle?
down, yeah, and it's kind of dripping, and you do see that it's puddling. And you kind of follow it just a little bit, Al, and it's not there is no like natural like cut portion, like a little drainage slit or something. It's just kind of following the natural stonework down here, and you do follow it. And as you are kind of walking, it will take you away from the group if you do follow where it's kind of you see like this little almost like snaked kind of carved out over time path from the water.
Mhm.
Okay, so you do kind of
I
veer off a little bit.
golf. Who has lights? I'd probably ask for one person with a light to follow me. Rock? Anybody else?
Rock says, the root
Okay.
members, they all have various lights, either
If
torches or.
if Sedge has a light, I'd tap him
Okay.
on the
Oh,
shoulder and say, Where's this going? Sorry, I need check this out for a minute."
Gotcha.
yeah, I have more than light. You know, I could do light anywhere.
Oh,
So illuminated backdrop, you guys travel, kind of following it, and it does it runs to a little. I would say about, and by runs I mean that's very loosely like a term. It's a slow trickle and a little bit of, but you can still see where the water's like over time kind of followed a similar path through the old cobbles or whatnot down here. After about getting about 60 or 70 feet away from the group, you approach uh, where the water stops because it hits a side of a solid side of like a building, and you kind of look at it. And underground, this is a solid, smooth um, side of maybe a building or something, because down here, and it's a little bit different than everything else down here because it's almost like if it was made of some material that later it was plastered or cast over, and the water just kind of stops, and it just looks like it's been pooling here, and it's not quite enough heat, or it's not dry enough down here to completely evaporate all the water. So there is like a small little, maybe about like a 2 foot little puddle that's kind of gathered up against this wall.
Al will use his rapier to kind of get the depth of the water. It's really humid down here.
Yeah, it's a half of an inch, maybe. It's not like maybe an inch total. You just gotta poke in there.
Gotta be careful for pits.
um,
You guys,
Let's
what are you guys doing? Just do we think the water is, or do we think this drip is going to take us to where we're looking for?
I was trying to gauge how long it been dripping or streaming like that, since I guess we don't really know how old the markings are at this point, but the puddle's not too big. Doesn't seem
Great.
like it's going anywhere else, and the wall, I don't, it looks a little off. I don't know. I guess it's just side of a building. Um, I was gonna use the butt of his rapier and tap it a bit.
on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of tap on it, and as you do tap on it, uh, even with your very gentle tapping, the little exterior layer of dust and sediment just kind of flakes away, kind of crumbles a bit,
It's
almost like a really thin eggshell.
uh, it's very brittle. I was gonna put up his rapier and do a 0 damage punch on it.
Yeah, just
Yo, check this out.
yeah, and it just kind of like you just almost
Shit.
like there is definitely something solid behind it. Like you hit it, and then but there's you kind of see like some of the like little dust in the old sediment and a little bit of it kind of crumbles away.
So basically, whatever's caked on top of it is giving, but that's it. Why? What?
Little...
So now we're punching walls, like.
Yeah, secret tunnels, secret dungeons, you know.
Yeah,
I'll do it a couple more taps.
Give it to it, Al.
Oh, my hand hurts.
Yeah, so you do give it like another a slap and a punch, and it does kind of crumble, and a piece of it does kind of fall off a little bit. Not the wall, but just like the little bit, as David said, caked on sediment. And as it does, you do behind that you see there's almost like as if someone took like a hand, maybe dipped in a paint, and then like kind of smeared it, like kind of like in a crescent way, and you see like a what's a good symbol? Like I'm trying to think like what's a modern day symbol that like looks like that, but it's almost like they ran their hand from left to right, and it was maybe in like some green paint or some green dye. You see like a marking.
Al's up close and he's having a bit too much fun, so he's just gonna keep systematically kind of hitting it without taking too much notice of what's behind it. Like,
Okay.
This is kind of fun, actually.
And you start like kind of breaking and chipping away at this, and Zahid over the bond, kind of looking at you. What are you doing? And they start kind of walking.
Huh, what?
There's another mark.
Yeah, it's we're discovering, we're investigating.
Yeah.
And we'll take a step back and see what is revealed so far.
Okay. So it as you kind of reveal that, essentially, so a handprint that was smeared from left to right, leaving like a trail of green, and then you see maybe like individual finger dabs that are of a blue color, kind of dabbing down, and then they do indicate, like they do kind of stop. So you have like a green smear, a little blue trickle, and then you have another one of the more normal symbols that you've seen, or at least here, that indicates to go, let's just say, to the right.
Does it look like it's a similar source to the other markings we've been looking at? Like same style marking?
Yes,
okay.
yes, same style.
Okay.
Davis will take a look at the paint, like the stuff that's being scraped off. We'll try and figure out what the heck it is. Actually, I'll ask Dragnar to help.
Okay, so the sediment that there's the caked on bits, and there's the paint underneath.
No, the actual caked on bits, like what was covering it, basically.
Yeah, go ahead and give me, I guess it would be a nature check.
Yeah, I'll use Dragnar for that. Although, actually, he's only marginally better than me. He doesn't get to use his wisdom or anything for that, does he? No. Only for history. Okay. Can I help him?
Are you proficient?
No. So no. Then I'll make rules for each of us, if that's okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, how would you help him, right? You'd be like,
yeah, no, I can't. He did worse than I did. I did a total of 12.
12? Okay. It's the thing that you put up on it, it's a little odd of just how much this was caked on. Just here. Why here? Like, you're kind of looking around, and it doesn't seem like this area is much different than anywhere else. So, like, there's an odd amount of it being caked on. That's maybe the thing that stands out. And Dragnar's just like, I don't know. It's old. I don't like it.
I mean, is this stuff old? The whatever we just found? Is that? I mean, these if the sediment and stuff here is old, then that means the markings that we saw earlier are just as old, if not older. This could be recent, I guess, but I don't know this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I don't know, but...
Anybody got any ideas? Can you tell how old any of this crap is? I don't know. Hey, you guys. So he...
Yeah?
No, well, yeah, you guys too, but the Carlos's friend, Zahid,
Yeah,
and
Zahid, Maggie, and David.
Oh.
do you guys recognize anything like this?
Religion.
They kind of they kind of get up to it. I mean, the green smear with it it looks it looks like paint. Like why would it be paint down here? And Al, I just
I
kind of
mean, could it
imagine.
have been there from long ago when before this was built on top of?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, we could have just found some old street graffiti. I don't know.
How bright does it look?
Bright? Oh, good question.
Like, I mean, we've all
I
seen an
would.
old whitewashed
Yes.
fence.
Yeah.
This is a fresh
Yeah.
one, right?
With that, and your intelligence, yeah, it doesn't look like it would be that old. Like it's older. Like maybe it's not like this year, but it's definitely not like many decades old. It's certainly not many centuries old. So it's still pretty vibrant in color. Like the time and the elements have not had a chance to dull it out as much as many of the other things that you would imagine. So.
Carlos will mention that and just kind of be like, there's just like our kobold friends. I mean, where there's free real estate to be had, the people who seek it out, there could be folks who are destitute living in here. There could be thieves or ne'er-do-wells using these areas for running around transport. I mean, wouldn't be surprised that there'd be a few markers to denote direction or territory.
Yeah, and then somebody wanted this one covered for some reason. Which could be good for us, because we're looking for something that's hidden, right? So, sure.
That's about right. It's dangerous, or
I'll take it all back, I'm sorry.
it's. It seems like markings that people didn't want to be traced.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's markings for a trail of some sort, but who knows to what.
We should keep an eye out for this kind of covering as we try and navigate this place too. See if we find other similar stuff.
Al has his fingers in front of him like a viewfinder, and he's going back and forth over that stuff. And he's like, Oasis, Forest Temple, Garden. What were they hiding? What is your story? And he's gonna walk up and touch it.
Okay. As you kind of go up and touch it, put it. The part that you've exposed is still, again, it doesn't look.
How big is the handprint?
Handprint.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, good point. I will give you that, but go ahead and also give me a medicine check when you're doing when you want to investigate the handprint.
Okay. 14.
Okay. It's about the size of maybe like Davis's hand.
I didn't do my promise.
Yeah. But something you slightly pick up on is there's almost like when they put their hand on, they must have had either very long nails or maybe it's maybe like bonier fingers, because there's almost like you can almost kind of see like a finer strip, like where like the finer tips of their fingers ran across. So it is like a handprint and it does smear, but at the tips where the fingers would have made the impression, there's almost like it's thinner. That's about it.
Cool. And I will not like run his hand over it or anything, but just kind of hover it an inch off. I can't tell the dimensions of the thing that made this print. Tall but thin, maybe? Kind of gangly? I don't know.
And like Rock kind of stumbles over and looks at it. He's like, he looks at his hand, looks at it. I mean, maybe this had really. And he goes and grabs Karos's hand and kind of pushes on his pad. Gets his claws a little out. It's like maybe it just had really long.
Claws?
Claws, hands, nails.
It
Rock,
better
you
not be
spoke to
hags
the-
again.
I look at both Karos and Zahid.
Rock, you played with the lizard folk the last time we were in town. Did they have any nails or claws?
The moment you say lizard folk, you just see Rock. He just gets like super excited, just like lizard folk, lizard folk, lizard. You just hear it over the bond. His brain is just going lizard folk, lizard folk. You got his attention. Like Rock all of a sudden just kind of perked up and he's like super excited. Can we go follow the markings? I want to go find my lizard people if that's the case.
I mean, if they
Onwards.
know where the circle is, then yeah.
And Rock kind of gets his staff and just kind of where you've kind of broken around. He just decides he wants to just bang around it to see if there's more of the picture. So he just starts banging on, and the sediment just starts to fall.
Hey, that's my wall, and I'll take the corner and start punching it again.
Okay, and then like you just see like you guys have exposed like an 8 by 8 foot, maybe even more because the staff reaching up, and there's more. So you have the streak with the trickle with the blue dots that then lead you to a symbol that indicates to go, like I said, to the right. But above it, you see where they've taken kind of like multiple same hands, or at least similar hand type, where they press them and then smear them, press them and smear them, press them and smear them. And it's almost like a deep, like a blackish blue, maybe like a blackish purple, like it's a deep violet, a deep like navy blue that's been smeared. And they have on that, it's almost as if they've put little droplets of now like white paints, just kind of like they're kind of like flicking, like they were flicking it. So you have dark. So what are you guys gonna do?
Well, it's not like this is a door, so
So
Well,
which way does it say to go then, guys?
Dragnar would say, this way. Let's
Yeah.
keep moving.
yeah.
And again, let's keep an eye out for stuff that's covered like this, because, well, obvious reasons, I hope.
So as you guys are walking in the direction that was indicated, still Dragnar being diligent with his chalk marks, there are some other little bit of, you find some symbols, though they are a lot less frequent the further you get down.
Is it so? Before we were in a somewhat open section with, like, what you would call
Many
quote unquote
buildings,
buildings, yeah, but relatively like low cover, like ceiling ish. Is it still the case here? Like, still relatively open, but or is
It's
it
becoming
less?
yeah, it's becoming a little bit more claustrophobic.
Okay.
So less of the open and less of like the optional pathing to take.
Okay.
Um, the it would be essentially completely dark down here. Short of every once in a while, there seems to be enough of a natural like crack or a fissure that maybe leads to something above that might be exposed to some sort of light. So you get like the faintest little, like almost like it's not like like a little beam of light that kind of makes it through based on the time of day that it is right now, but it's not anything that you would be able to like really use to illuminate the space. So you are still fairly well underground.
But not like when we're in the super pitch black of the mountain, of the snoring mountain.
Yes, no, it's nothing like that.
Got it.
And as you guys are moving, Dragnar, because I'm thinking Dragnar would, and as well, what Dragnar would see that Zahid and the roots are just looking for signs of people moving through, or as you guys were mentioning, ne'er-do-wells, refugees, or people that are just looking for real estate, essentially. So go ahead and roll me a survival check for Dragnar.
Sure.
And I'm gonna roll 1 at advantage for the other group.
Pretty good. 24 total for Dragonite.
24 total for
Yeah, 16
the
plus 8.
numbers.
Oh, nice.
So, it's they both pick up on that there probably was some sort of movement down here, and maybe not like within the last week or two. But whoever did move through here was cautious, and they didn't leave the most distinct path. Definitely taking some consideration to their passings through here. They discuss it amongst themselves. Like, yeah, I see it. It's
Like they're trying to cover their tracks?
yeah, almost. But it was just a few individuals from what you can tell.
Man, I wish we had Marb with us. Damn.
Dragnar's like, well, you're stuck with me.
Phew.
Them. So you'll have to deal with it.
Listen, I can still miss a friend, alright? Like, I'm not mad at you. I'm just, miss Marb, that's
You
all.
visited him.
Yeah, I did, but that was a couple
away.
months ago. Well, I guess like a month or two ago at this point.
Fair, but still.
And it's like, that was just hanging out, which, that's a good time still. But, he was really good at just this kind of crap where, gotta really focus in and find something, and yeah.
Well, we found something. So,
Yeah.
Zahid was like, well, I suppose we still have plenty of time. We'll progress forward and see what we run into.
Yeah, forward we go.
Okay. So as you guys are going, obviously this the space that you imagine is, a stranger to any sort of illumination, really. It's dark. There's not much going on, and the only reason you're able to really navigate down here is because of the torches and the light spells. You from time you still hear maybe a little bit of dripping water from time to time, and you do hear some sort of source of wind or air coming through here once in a while. Sej, as you were saying, you were continuing to look up. As you get here, there are no more roots in this portion where you guys continued walking. And as you guys are looking for like the same kind of sedimenty kind of buildup, walking as a group kind of together, pushing forward for about another 20 minutes or so. And down here, you guys are not necessarily walking at like your normal pace that you would above ground. You're more cautious of your steps, still looking around, taking in. So the pace of travel down here is, we'll say, slower. You do see you do come up against another wall that has actually a set of stairs, um, uh, though rather eroded at this point, but they are stone stairs, as kind of like indicated, similar to like this kind of picture. And one set goes up, the other set goes down, and it is adjacent to one of those sedimenty walls.
Do you guys want to go back to that one too?
I'm gonna crack his knuckles.
While Al cracks the knuckles, Rock just gets his staff and just starts whack, whack, and you just hear in his head again.
I wasn't ready.
Lizard folk, lizard folk. He's just like, I'm gonna meet my friends. Excited.
What if that was a door?
One way to find out.
A wall would be a door? Like, if it's a door, then they're going to break it.
That could be good or bad, but
True.
there they go.
So yeah, as whack, whack, and Al, and as you guys do, you guys are hitting the wall and hitting the sediment, and you're getting a little bit disappointed. There is no, how did I want to say it? There doesn't seem to be any hand markings or paint. And then, Al, you give it a good little thud, and your hand goes through.
I guess it is a door.
I smile back at Sedge like, oh.
Good call,
Nice.
huh?
He's got the foresight. And I start using my fingers to kind of go in and pull out.
Okay. As you do, you kind of pull out.
Yeah, I'll help.
You know, it's I don't know, like it's the equivalent. Like the way I look at it is like it's like drywall, right? It's
Yeah, I
heavy
get
rigid
it.
drywall.
But
And you're able to kind of pull, and it kind of crumbles like an eggshell, and you're pulling away at it. And as you do pull away, there is parts where you guys were hitting it, and it was a wall. And now that you've exposed this hole that is just like another walkway.
So it's big enough for people to fit in, like to
Yes,
walk through. Okay,
big
wow.
enough for people to fit in. Maybe a little bit of a duck, right? Like it's
Yeah.
a little bit. But there are proper handprints now. Just that kind of like would like almost like frame the door, and all of them do look like a handprint similar to Davis's size. There are larger and smaller ones, and then you do see the distinct impressions of elongated nails or claws or something, but they're not like scratched. It's just like pressing it in.
Shall we? I guess, right?
Yeah, but I need to know what's behind it now.
Okay.
Dragnar, you first.
Chicken walks through,
Eh.
looking around. Go ahead and give me a perception check for Dragnar.
Okay. Nep.
I'll go to like touch Dragnar's like fist with a light cantrip and just pull back just before I'm like, oh.
Yeah, he don't want that.
Never mind.
It was a natural 20 for 28.
Okay. Sorry. What was this? And survival would be similar or a little bit less?
Yeah, it's +8 as well. So.
Okay, so 28. I meant to say survival. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So as he does, he looks around, and the discreetness and covering up of footprints a lot less, as they don't expect people to.
Right. Find the wall. Or find the. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, "All right, we definitely found people down here." Looks at Zahid, looks at the root, and the two root members are like, you see that they're like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, you guys
They're trying to
maybe hang to the back of the group. Just be safe.
And they kind of look, and Zahid says, "You can report it later. Technically, your officers don't know you're down here, right?" And they kind of, "Yes, sir." They nod.
I thought you guys were off book. I thought this was.
We still have a duty, right?
I don't know, do you? I don't know anything about what you guys are doing. We just came here because you guys were looking for the same thing we were looking for, I thought.
We are helping Afuma and the Unveilers. But
okay.
Not to go into it, but we're still, Verdant Cause members. We still report to the city, but this is something we do on our off time.
Fun. You guys know how to have fun.
I mean, there's a lot of history down here. And apparently there's a lot of secrets down here, and now we're worried because, part of us are loyal to the protection of the city, and what if this is, I don't know, we run into some marauding band that uses our old district as a hideout.
Yep, my point exactly. Hang back.
That's true.
I mean, we can...
Although, you look like maybe you've seen some stuff. But it's probably been a bit.
We're all trained.
Okay.
Zahid, you don't have to explain yourselves. We understand. Allow the menagerie to go first.
Yeah.
We'll make sure to provide them backup. And as Zahid looks at Karos, take the lead, sir. Kind of smiles. And Dragnar looks at and starts walking forward, and then looks at Karos. Is like, I think he wants you to catch up.
Carlos will shrug and kind of walk alongside of Dragnar.
Gotcha.
I'll clap. I was gonna say I'll clap Alan, and she'll be like, "Good stuff, man. Good job." I definitely doubted you, but I was wrong.
Did you say anything, Al? No. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I was muted.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I thought it was
Al,
like usually you would.
Yeah.
Al didn't say anything, but he does a quick 1-2 shadow box, like yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
He's
Nice.
he's been trying to impersonate Dragnar's form with the punches, and you can tell he's not there.
Your elbows and your shoulder are popping as you're doing it. Ow.
Yeah, you
Ow.
like dislocate your shoulder as you do
Yeah.
Never had
it.
that muscle get sore before. What the fuck?
There's a muscle there?
So now that you guys are in this more obviously traversed portion of the underground, we'll just say underground city for lack of a term. Keeping an eye out, the amount of those markings that you saw are not really there, like the ones that indicate direction or dead ends. But what you do start seeing is along these walkways, there's a lot of handprints and drawings, essentially, that people, this group or something, have taken the time to kind of depict some events or something that they've seen. And walking through, there's the various colors along the wall, which
I'll have Dragnar go ahead and cast Pass Without Trace.
okay. So Dragnar would kind of
Is
put
that
up his hand.
2 key points, right? I think for casting.
Yeah, 2 key points.
Okay.
All right.
He'll just kind of like put his hand up, and be like, "Let's keep it quiet."
Doesn't hurt to be safe, right?
Yeah.
With that, he will encourage everyone to walk slowly and stealthily. So,
One hoof at a time.
so let's go ahead and have everybody roll me stealth checks with
Plus 10.
on top of whatever you roll.
28. I'm not sure if you heard that. 28.
Yeah, I heard that. 28. Thank you. Let me write that in just so I have it as a reference. So rock 28. All right, so Sej 28 as well. Ooh, womp womp. Okay, cool. And then the other 3 of them all rolled above natural 10s plus their bonuses plus 10. So okay, so lots of things above the 20s. So as you guys do, this does slow your pace down a bit. But you guys are walking carefully. I said torches, which I misspoke. They had hooded lanterns.
All right.
The 2 root members, they dim it down to be just enough light to kind of be able to see what's in front. I don't know what Sej or Rock, what you guys are going to do with your light sources, but they definitely do dim theirs down.
I'll follow suit if others are dimming.
Okay.
I usually put mine on the pommel of my like dagger thing, so I'm just gonna cover it up with my free hand.
Gotcha. So for this, you guys have just enough light where you guys are not considered in bright light at all because you're kind of covering everything. You guys are walking in a little bubble of dim light.
Dragnar's so happy right now.
Yeah, if mechanics matter. And that is, it is enough to allow the, those of you with dark vision to see normally. Those of you without dark vision, you can at least see what's in front of you. You're not going to like fall into a hole or hurt yourselves. Walking cautiously and walking forward for like the next 5 minutes because you are taking your time. Not even 5 minutes, like walking through that. I think it would be a total time from hitting the door to where you get was about 5 minutes now. And
So it's just a straight single path, not like no forks along the way or anything. It's just
not really like it. There is how would I put it? There would be opportunities to turn off if you wanted to, but it looks like whoever is down here has put either maybe like boxes in the way, or even at one point there's like a rug that they've kind of put up, and they've almost like taken mud to the side of it and kind of slapped it up so that it like kind of stuck to the wall. It's very intentionally a path to take.
Okay.
That they've maybe made out of what would be around here. And as you do get to this area, stepping out just a little bit, kind of looking where it does like the obviously straight path that you guys are on, air quote straight, does start to begin to open up to a room or a space. Dragnar would kind of peek out, look around. Go ahead and, because Karos and Dragnar are at the front, go ahead and give me perception checks. Okay, nice. So Dragnar looking around will say, all right, it looks like it's opening up maybe a little bit more. Maybe we found like another one of those, I don't know, maybe like another square or something. And Karos, as you're kind of scanning and looking, you'll see something that you didn't notice immediately, but you guys were walking maybe on a slight incline to get to this point. And as you look, you see that above you, and it does open up to quite a space. I would say maybe about, guesstimating, maybe 20 feet at the highest at some points. And the space is maybe about 50, 60 feet across. You just like, you can see almost like the what do you call it, the bases of like different buildings and structures just on the outskirts of your vision, so you get a feel that maybe about 50 or 60 feet out. But it has opened up, and you see a collection of leathers and tarps. You see some makeshift little benches made from wood or crates or barrels where they've put some things on them. You see the signs of people down here, or individuals down here, almost like an abandoned or evacuated camp or something.
I'll point that out to first to Rock and then, or not to Rock, to
Dragnar.
Dragnar. How far is everyone behind us? Like 10 feet, 15?
Yeah, 10, 15 feet. You guys are kind of taking a small lead and kind of have a chance to catch up to you because Dragnar kind of waves them over while you're scanning the area.
I'm gonna point it out to everybody. Be like, we're definitely not the first ones here in recent history.
Is there any high ground that Dragnar could get up to with his Misty Step or his Shadow Step or whatever it's called?
Yeah, you can, as you wish to imagine. Like he would hit like a ceiling at around 20 feet, but there are some.
Yeah.
I don't know what the right term, like outcropping or whatever, but there are places where there's enough of a ledge or a top of like maybe an older building that's still down in this area where he can.
Yeah, absolutely. So bamf on up to something to get a higher look, and he won't warn anybody. He's just gonna do it.
Yeah, so he'll look around, see that like 20 feet out there's an obvious corner to a building, and then he'll look on it and he'll kind of grin because he sees maybe like an old balcony.
Yeah, and he'll just be looking for any signs of activity, well, like current, which would be the most pressing, or just like he could see where things had taken place recently or something like that.
All right, so the light is again very minimal down here.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give me a perception check.
You got it. 21 total.
21 total. All right, so as he's kind of looking around, he'll see that this is another portion that would have been the underground city, and to the left of him, it would have been like essentially like where like the weight kind of caved in or whatnot, and it's just essentially like rubble. But it's been like this for so long that it's set in its place. It's stable.
Foundation now, basically.
Yeah, basically like foundation. Yeah, exactly. So there's not, so to the left of him, there's basically not much. But to the right of him, it does kind of open up to what would have been another portion of town, perhaps like, 3 or 4 blocks or so, if they were blocks, right? And you can see that there's a bunch of little buildings. He does see numerous, signs of there was like a camp, tents, not necessarily parchments, but like leathers, sleeping arrangements, and areas to prepare.
If he can get closer, bamf again.
Sure. So he bamps down to one of the leathers, and over the bar, and he says, "Y'all chill. I'm gonna go scout."
Be more generous than I would have, but sure.
I figure he's not too crazy. So, over the bond, tells y'all.
Yeah, sure.
And goes down there. And he's got an option. He can go inside one of the one of the buildings if he wants to. He can explore essentially like a little tent kind of area. Or he can like explore, let's call it like a little workbench area.
So there's no active light anywhere, like no current light or movement. I mean, I get it. Yeah, with my 21 perception, I don't know.
He would see 21 perception. I would give him that he would smell the very faint smell of like old embers, maybe.
Okay. So the options were building, tent, workbench.
Yeah.
And the tent and the workbench are essentially on the open building. He's like, he'd be going inside of it.
Yeah, like stepping beyond the threshold.
Got it. Ooh. Whatever's closest to the group, and I'll just, if you're having me pick, I'll say tent.
Yeah, I'm just letting you kind of like an individual. Okay, so he goes to the tent. He kind of looks at it. It is, the tent is a collection of some sort of leathers, and then some fabrics and stuff that are kind of all kind of put on, draped over some sort of frame. Dragon looking at it is like simple.
Yeah, it's like almost like a tanning station or something.
Kind of, yeah. He kind of pulls open, looks in, and no one is visible. The tent itself is not massive. It's 10 by 10.
Oh,
know?
Okay, yeah. A pup tent almost, like a big pup tent, but
yeah.
But not like a big, massive like circus tent or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And as he steps in, he sees that there's some more. Again, it would be like fabrics and maybe some gathered straws and haze to almost make like a place to lay down. And that's really just about it.
Yeah, I guess you'd relay that back to the group. Just say, could have been somebody here recently-ish, but seems like there's nobody here now. And then kill direct, because I don't even know if Karos or anybody could even see where he went, but
it'd be hard to keep up with him, especially with this stealth.
So I'd be like, yeah, off to 3 o'clock from where we came in.
Gotcha. So, getting down here, looking around. Zahid will look and say, "I'm going to try to catch up with your friend," and he's gonna start kind of walking through. I'm gonna take an eye out. So, over the bond, you'll hear Zahid say, after a moment or so, I smell a little bit of maybe an old campfire or something, and you'll hear like his steps kind of slightly echoing through, not like very loudly, but you guys are close enough and listening to him. And he's like, and over the bond, looks like some people were down here at some point, not too long ago. And he'll say Maggie Davis, or David. Sorry, yeah. And
that's your fault. You picked that name.
Yeah, I know. I did. So they'll definitely start approaching and going in. Dragnar will keep a watch out. Anyone, you guys are welcome to kind of walk in here or keep it the entrance, whatever you wish. Just let me know.
Yeah, I'll be going. Everybody, I think.
So You guys find Zahid. He's and it's a small little ember stack, like old, not too old. They're not necessarily glowing, but they definitely have some warmth to them. Uh, and oh, I should actually take that back. They're not glowing, but there's the warmth to them. But then you do see that how do we want to put it? Like it's almost like it was splashed out. Like they took an urn that they had and doused the fire, and then this one, and you can see that it's still wet.
Well, we're pretty sure they didn't come the way, or they didn't leave the way we just came in, right? So, I guess we gotta keep going further in.
Zahid, you think the knocking alerted them?
You mean not when we uncovered this passage?
The wall. I mean, you would think.
I mean, maybe that's why they doused this and kept going. I don't know.
All right, if we're going.
Avoiding trouble or setting a trap.
Yeah. So keep your eyes peeled, everybody.
Rock over. Are you here, CJ? Or did you step away again? Okay, yeah. Rock over the bond would say, they're the lizards. They're not trouble.
I mean,
They're
if it's
friends.
them,
We don't really know it's them yet. So
I hope it is. Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
And either way, they don't know we're us or what
True.
what we want, what we need. So
Yeah, they don't know we're friends.
I was gonna say, just because they're lizards doesn't mean they're trouble, but it also doesn't mean that they can't start trouble. Everybody can make
Yeah,
trouble.
especially if you're backed into a corner and you got some stuff bearing down on you that scares you. You know?
somebody bust down your front door. Flex.
Yeah, yeah. Good job, bud. Yeah, I mean, if they've been wanting to hide and they're suddenly not hidden anymore, that could scare them. So we got to be careful.
Okay. Well, if we approach, we move cautiously, and well, hopefully it doesn't come to any type of exchanging of blows.
Yep.
Well, it would make sense if they didn't come our way. We need to find paths that they could leave. So let's spread out in groups and see if we can find exit points.
Good plan.
All right. So those of you who are fanning out and looking, go ahead and give me investigation checks, unless if you can justify another check of some sort.
No.
Let me look through my character sheet.
I'll go ahead and roll for...
So Dragnar doesn't have stone cunning, right? Like anymore.
No. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, got rid of that.
Yeah. He gets the 5% or the 5 movement speed instead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like he needs it.
No, but that's we got rid of the 25 movement speed stuff.
Right.
That's silly. Oh wow, you guys rolled well.
There's the
Damn.
airflow. I can smell it.
Yeah, nice.
Light green dice are doing me well.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, because his shadow meditation is, first of all, it's only after dusk, and it's like you have to meditate on it. Yeah. I was trying to think if there's any peripheral stuff that would be kind of related to that, since this is an area of shadow, but I don't know. So I'll just do investigation.
No, but keep in mind that when he's doing, which you may have been forgetting to do, which is, I forgot. Remember, he's got the Vanta Black, so if he's doing any ability checks that are monk abilities,
which are athletics, acrobatics, history, insight, religion, and stealth. Okay.
Yeah, he can add his
martial arts die, and that's just free, right? It's not a.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yep. Nice. Okay, and his martial arts die is what, 8? D8 now? 6. Oh, so he's 7 monk. Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't have very. Yeah. So,
okay, so I'll do investigation for both of us then.
Okay.
Drags is 10, and Davis is 11, I think. Yeah.
So So as the group is kind of fanning out, keeping again in touch, during this time, Rock will sit amongst the camp and focus and recast the bond ritually so that you guys don't lose it.
Good call.
So refreshing the bond on everybody. You'll hear him go over testing. Can you guys hear again? Testing, testing. And
Hey,
through this,
there's
okay,
Works good.
through this 10, it's perfect, okay. Through this 10-minute period, and they now slightly more illuminated as, once as Maggie and David uncovered or allowed the hooded lanterns to shine bright again. The group spreads out and looks, and Al, you find all of you as you're kind of walking through it. There's a decent amount of looks like living space down here. You see a number of these tents and workbenches, and inside of some of the little buildings that are more, stable or less crumbled down. Uh, for like, I guess you would say, yeah, it was less crumbled down. In this space, you do see that there are the signs of life and living. There are uh, handprints and different little, like, you would say, like paintings and I can't think of the word. It's not glyphs. What is it? What I cave
Sigils.
paintings.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's basically like cave
Crawlings.
scrawlings. Yeah, like cave, like they're just maybe passing the time or depicting stuff.
Yeah.
Doodles.
Uh, doodle, boom,
Graffiti.
cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, doodles is a good word. But they all seem to be kind of the same style. They seem to be, done with the hands, from what you can see. They're different things.
Real,
But
real quick, while we're talking about this, Davis just has a kind of a small epiphany, and he's like, "Hey, guys, lizard folk are small, right? They're not. Their hands aren't this big. I don't think this is lizard folks. Do they come this big?
um,
Just that's over the bond to everybody."
I get you.
No. Well,
Vanguard, yeah.
I mean, the ones we've seen are all like 2 feet tall, right? So
not all lizard folk are the same. But
no, but I mean, they don't. They don't get a whole lot bigger than. Certainly, they don't. I don't think they get Dregnar's size. Maybe they do.
After-
Maybe the
As
big
you
ones do. I don't know.
Zahid will actually, I think you're getting them mixed up. Or
Oh, I'm thinking of kobolds, aren't I? That's right.
correct. There is a
honestly, how dare you? You know.
Yeah, that is pretty bad. You're right.
I thought I knew
there
you,
is
Davis.
there is a small population of known lizard folk in Whitlaw.
Do they have hands this big potentially?
I mean, certainly they seem to be of a stature like you and I. There are the smaller ones amongst them, and obviously children. But yeah,
Okay.
I would say if you were to say they're like of average person size.
I just figured because we kind of had to duck on the way in that it was like maybe they're small, but also secret passage. You don't want to like make it super comfortable and wide open, right? So.
I believe you're correct on the secret passage.
Right. Yeah. Okay. My bad, y'all.
No worries. Thanks for looking out. We could use any help we can. You know.
Yeah.
So, Al and Karos, you both basically kind of branched out in separate directions, but then as discussions and investigations were going on, you kind of come to the same point. And it does look like there's one obvious way out, and it's just another path, just kind of further down. Karos, the thing that you do notice about it, what you picked up, is that it seems to start inclining up again. Like you were inclining on the way up here, and now you seem to be inclining again. Another thing that will stand out to you, Karos, with your 27 total, 14 was your magic number, right? Yeah, 14 was your magic
Yeah.
number. Okay,
And
cool.
the
Just
new
making sure.
Nirvana number? It is.
Yeah, my brain was just making sure that was
Yep, I have it in my notes.
Okay.
Sorry if I
as you
didn't
do,
tell you, Kyle.
It's alright.
I think we rolled it last time. Yeah.
we
Yeah,
did,
I was
and
gonna say 9 was the previous one I had written down, so.
Yeah, sorry. It's the one note that I have for when I was Jaegering you, because that's like, we didn't really fight or anything.
So, you guys do find the way to continue out. If you wish to take it, you will see that there are signs of footfalls, but they seemed to do a fairly decent job of covering their tracks as they were, not escaping, but removing themselves from this location and did not necessarily wish to be followed. You do still see some signs of foot traffic and all that because the space is larger. But on the way to this point, this exit point out, you do feel that it is starting to incline back up. And Karos, you do see that based on what Sej had noticed, like there are a lot of roots and stuff. You do start to see the signs of the roots of something starting to kind of creep on, grow back into this, like on the walls of this tunnel, let's call it, and it is kind of coming through the roof or the ceiling of it. But yeah, you and Al have definitely found what looks to be the way out. If they didn't leave the same way that you guys came in, then this must be their way to depart from here.
In the stretch we have explored after leaving kind of that dwelling area, have we seen any more markings on the walls?
With your investigation, you have, but it's more along the signs of the doodling.
Okay.
Them passing time or trying to pick a story or something. Again, you haven't necessarily left, let's call this this living area, you haven't left it this entire time since you've been here. And the living area is a lot larger than initially, expected. It is caved in on the left-hand side, but then it did go about 200 or so feet. So it was a little bit larger than the initial 60 feet that was expected. Still with Pass Without a Trace, Dragnar does catch up to you guys. Look at y'all. They were, looks like they were in a kind of a hurry. I kind of see. We going this way? Is that what's happening?
If
think
there's nothing
so.
left for us back there, this is the way back up and out. At least we
Seems like it
believe.
anyway.
All right, cool. That's good. That's good enough for me. He'll just start kind of walking through the shadows, getting forward, and over the bar, and he's like, "Find us. We found the way out." And he'll kind of scout up ahead. As you guys kind of coalesce and gather and follow Dregnar through this tunnel, they are the roots kind of coming through, and then it does exit as you guys are continuing to go up and up. It does towards the end a ways you start to see light. You start to see natural light, like a wall of it, and you guys are welcome to do as you wish.
Are we going back to the surface? Is that what this is taking us?
I
You
mean,
said it was a pillar of light?
well, like you see like the wall of light essentially. Like you see like at the end of the tunnel there is light.
Light
I'm
shining.
gonna go towards it.
All right. Walk
This guy-
towards the light, Saj.
This guy loves
Go
light.
towards the light.
I love the light.
It's true. He is a light cleric.
He is very consistent in what he does. So as you guys walk, you see Saj kind of walk, and cautiously everyone else kind of gathers. You hear some of the thoughts and the discussions between Sahid and his root members, and they've got your back. And as you cross the threshold, Sej, and step out, you are in an old garden. Around you, you kind of look and you see that you see beyond the garden, you see the Kneeling District. You see the distinctive gray bricks with the wood supports that make up and the stonework that makes up Whitlaw. But it's interesting because as you're kind of looking around, you're like almost in an enclosed garden. You see that if there was a fence around it, that it has been long covered by creeping mosses and vines. There's trees jutting up, and it's almost like you're boxed in by the city.
This place is a little strange. It's a garden, like a leftover garden. Is it still green? Did you say?
Yeah, it's over. It's like it's forgotten, right? So it is
It's
green.
overgrown and stuff.
Yeah, it's overgrown. There's all manner of like you have some random flowers, random shrubs, some trees, some mosses, some vines. It's just you see birds in the trees chirping, or you hear them and see them. You see some butterflies kind of flying by.
So I have a question for the Whitlaw. What do you call someone who lives or who's from Whitlaw? Like a Whitlawer, Whitlawyer? I don't know.
A Witten.
A Witten. Okay, so the Wittens in the group. Uh, I don't know anything about Whitlaw really, but I did hear someone mention a garden. It's called the Thorn Garden, and this kind of makes me think this might be it. But I don't know. I think it was Jorn talking about the trial. This doesn't seem like
Oh
where you'd have a trial.
no, the Thorn Garden. That's uh
But it looks also
the
kind of like a prison, right? So I don't know.
yeah. If you're talking about the Thorn District, that's the military quarters,
Oh, okay.
and they have the brambles there, which that's the
Oh, okay.
no we
So we're not
the
there. That's a
brambles.
whole separate part of the city.
Yeah, it's on the west side.
Okay,
So you might be thinking about the military campus, which is the Brambles,
got it.
and that's in the Thorn District. No, this is, unless if we somehow went a very different direction, we should still be in the Kneeling District.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Um, I mean, it looks like it. But
But this doesn't look
where,
familiar to any of you.
I mean, no, we are in, we're just encompassed by the city.
Yeah.
It's almost like this was an old garden that the city built up around, and maybe whoever was taking care of it died a long time ago, and the city just continued being built around it.
Hmm.
And the light still finds a way. Isn't that amazing?
Davis is gonna start looking for any ways out, like along the perimeters. Just
Sure.
like,
As you go along the perimeters and you start kind of poking,
yeah.
go ahead and perception, investigation, or survival. And they're different.
Perception's probably a better idea, but I think investigation's more appropriate, so I'm gonna do that anyway.
Okay.
Ooh, not good. We're rewarded with a decent roll. 18 total investigation.
Nice. Okay. So 18 total. As you know, your group kind of does fan out and start looking around again. Zahid is just like, wow, this is like he's a little bit. You kind of the group will kind of see this. He's just kind of like pleasantly. It's a little peaceful and he's a little happy here. It's like, this is, huh, nice. And they was like, yeah. Just kind of going through and trying to search and look. There are parts where the fencing around here has definitely uh rusted through or rotted through if it was wood or metal. And you can move the brushes aside and you can move the vines aside. And they literally lead inside like the back of buildings or back down. One of them that you find when you open it, it leads to a proper like drainage, and that makes sense that this place hasn't flooded. And you can drop back down, enter back to the underways if you wish.
Hmm. So this really isn't an exit.
Well, Dragnar would look around. Not the. I mean, they had to exit somewhere, right?
Unless they're still here.
I don't see them in here directly.
Rock steps up. Hey, friends! Friends!
Davis will like kind of start stepping towards him, like, whatever, fuck it.
They're not here,
There
guys.
goes the element of surprise.
I mean, this is literally how we found Jihad in the first place, so it worked for us once today. So
That's true.
And he just looks at you. They're not here.
Well,
That or
at
we're
least
not
we
their friend.
tried.
yeah, probably both.
Probably both. But now they know we're here. I think everybody knows we're here.
I mean, I don't know if anybody can hear us other than people who would be in here.
Yeah, Dragnar's looking. He's like, I mean, yeah, those buildings 20, 30 feet up, right? It's a random.
It's so weird. It's like walking through. Well, it is a ghost town, right?
Yeah.
It is. And then David would say, well, I mean, we're in an old city. I guess things can get lost and forgotten even here. Did you find anything? Was it Davis?
Yeah. Sorry, actually, out of character. Did I mean, you said I was trying to take some notes at the time, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, you do see that there's some spot. There are some.
Yeah, the rusted through.
Breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, rusted through or rotted through, depending if it was metal or wood portions.
Right.
They do lead. Some lead into like the back of buildings.
Yeah, I'll just basically say like, yeah, there's little bits here and there. I don't know if they really lead anywhere meaningful, but it's options, I guess. At this point,
What was your What was your check total?
I was investigation in total of 18.
18.
Because I rolled a 19 with -1. So.
Gotcha. You do notice that how would I want to say it? You do notice that when you check the where the water runoff would be, that there is actually one of those markings that you've seen before. Just kind of.
Okay, yeah, I'll point it out to everybody. If whoever's, I'll just do it, say it on the bond to everybody. Just be like, yeah, looks like there's some marking over here. Maybe I haven't been paying that much attention to what you guys have been seeing, so I don't know how to interpret this. So maybe it's like, give me some help over here.
On my way.
And then not through the bond. I'll just whistle so people know where I'm at. Just like,
Yeah.
Thank you. There's no damn direction with the thing.
right.
Yeah. And they perk up and they call it all gather. And Davis points out a couple of the little slipways that he's mentioned. Well, and Zahid will say, well, that is definitely a similar mark.
Yeah, does it
So
mean escape this way, or what does that mean?
it just means that it's passage from what we've gathered. Looks like you can go this way. It doesn't indicate that there's a dead end.
All right.
So this is.
Sorry, you can't punch any more walls, Sal, or at least not yet.
Right, stop me.
Point taken.
This is nice. A few things to take in really quickly as you guys are in this space, just to kind of look around. It's not the largest space. It's a small garden that's been forgotten. On the trees, you do see, again, some of the handprints, and something that Al, you would notice because you were looking at the wall. They do seem to at one level of the tree, that is large. I mean, it goes up like 40 plus feet, but on the trunk, it looks like someone like ran their hand around it and kind of did that dark purple blue paint again, and then just kind of sprinkled like the little white droplets around it, kind of making it like a skyscape or something.
When I do notice that, I'll circle the tree to see how far it goes and how much more of it there is?
They went ahead and did the entirety of the tree. They went all the way around.
Oh,
Just kind of made it nice. Uh, as you are looking at it, kind of taking it in as you went all the way around, your eyes kind of travel up, and you do see that there are, where there are the branches and stuff, there are little, you see little tie-offs where there's like some loose rope that's been tied off in the higher branches, maybe to help someone get up there and kind of climb. And
Want a
maybe
boost?
navigate.
yeah. I can't see
Certainly
much
got
more
some
from.
reach.
Yeah, I can't see much more from down here. I wouldn't mind a little help.
With that, Dragnar actually just bamfs up on his own.
Yeah. And then Sej and
Who
Davis
needs a
help Al
boost?
go up. Yeah. So with Sej and Davis's help, Al, you're able to kind of score me up, and then Dragnar oops up. Up here amongst the leaves and the not the proper canopy, but starting where the branches are. Yeah. Uh, it's interesting. There looks to be uh multiple of those like little uh and they're just segments of rope that are just tied up and almost made like little handholds or so on the various little branches of the trees. And some of the branches are big enough for like, you to properly walk on. Like you could sit on it. It wouldn't wobble or fall. And you do see, Al, as you go up higher on this tree, that they have, whoever is near has taken the time to paint the bark, giving it like that nightscape kind of look, sprinkled the white flakes of white paint and made it almost look like a nightscape within the tree. Dragnar's on another tree looking at it. It's like,
Does it look like it's an attempt to camouflage it? Or is it just cool?
Davis, you would think it looks cool
Okay.
when it's pointed out to you.
Okay.
It wouldn't make sense as camouflage, right? It's just they did something to indicate. And then Dragnar would call out and say, "Same thing up here on this tree." And there's there's not many trees. It's like not a huge garden. It's 60 by 60 or so, 50 by 50. So, you have maybe half a dozen of these larger trees. But every single one of these larger trees has, where it can in certain places, has like little tied off portions of rope that you can like hold on to. And then there's just like this pseudo nightscape here.
Well, that's nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, but now where?
Wait, you found some doodles for. Wait, was that pointing to the tree, or is that part of the wall that you found?
Yeah, it got us here.
It was to the tree. Okay, okay.
Unless you count these little starry specks as doodles. I don't know. Are they?
Well, maybe it's like if you think of the night sky or the stars as like a cartographer interpretation of down here, maybe, or maybe somebody's just reliving what it's like to have a real night sky over them.
Wait, yeah, Davis, you're good with stars. Are
Yeah.
the speckles like authentic, accurate, or did they just kind of like throw paint at the tree?
Good question. DM, are they? Is that just like an intelligence check or something?
You can give me a cartographer's, yeah.
Oh, sweet. So I can use my cartographer's tools.
Yeah. So you're
Or
proficient.
proficiency with it.
I don't remember if you
No,
have
I just have proficiency. Just proficiency. Okay. So it's an intelligence, I assume, or is it wisdom?
We'll do intelligence on this one.
Okay. Yeah, 15 total.
It's not bad. 15. It looks honestly more just like it's meant to just emulate a night sky, not accurately. It's just something nice, something peaceful.
Yeah, I guess when Al asks that, you'll see me go into a bit of a deep think, and then sort of to this point, since we were climbing up a tree, Glay went away. But I will sort of, as I'm absentmindedly thinking about it, I'll just sort of like flare my hand out, and just like the Glay will appear, like, and so the starlight will shine, and I'll kind of look down and be like, and use that as inspiration, and then be like, I don't think this is it. I think that's just starry sky, general starry sky.
And you kind of look through and you see that there's like little gaps in amongst the canopy of the tree, and you can kind of see through and see the blue sky. But you can imagine kind of nighttime, you'd still be able to see maybe the moon and maybe some stars, and this maybe just kind of helps make it all look like one big night sky. But
yeah, no, not like a map or any sort of celestial waypoints.
the only
Just
other thing
stars.
that you guys would point out is that there is at some points in a slightly lighter shade of the blue or the purple, or that you do see again some of those handprints. Similar, like Davis's size, but they do have the longer fingernails. Trainer will bamf down and say, "We going down the hole with the positive marking thing?"
I think so.
Unless you got a better idea.
You, sorry.
We're on the bond, so.
Yeah.
True.
All right. And I hope we find something. I'm getting an itch.
Yeah.
Can somebody help me down from this tree?
Oh, yeah, gotcha. And then I'll literally just throw you down to Dragnar.
Oh, fuck!
Gotcha.
Make an acrobatics check.
For Dragnar or for...
No, for Al.
For Al, okay, nice.
Oh, it's a nat 20.
Oh, shit!
Acrobatics, +5, 25.
+5. God damn it, you're so fucking weird. You're in full goddamn heavy armor. You're like gonna do a backflip out of the street.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
reorient my spine.
Yeah, so as you get kind of like chucked, Dragnar sees you falling, and he's kind of stepping out of the way with a big shit-eating grin, like you're gonna face plant, and then you just land. He's like,
For a
Walks
moment
off.
of like not dying, I stand up straight as fast as I can, like, yes, of course. Onwards.
I thought he was gonna catch you. I'm sorry. I thought he was. You know, he catches stuff. That's his thing. Like, it's one of his things, I guess. You know, like he's good. But whatever.
No, everything was calculated.
You're lucky, Dragnar.
I mean, you're lucky you didn't hurt your friend. Walks forward.
That's both our problem. God damn it.
And over the bond, you just hear him say, "I'm kidding, man. You're good." And then he kind of gets and kind of he kind of parts the way again within the fence, and then he goes, and he's the first one to just kind of drop down into the waterways.
So we've essentially backtracked back to where we went, into that break in the fence, and then back into the garden, and then to the downward spot, right?
You are on the other side. So yeah, so let's say you came out from the camp through that tunnel, and then you met this garden, and you met it on the south. So now we're on the north, going in that one break through the fence that you saw that was marked,
right?
Similar marking. So.
Okay.
And as you guys travel, continuing, all this has gone fairly quickly, so you still have Pass Without a Trace. So as you guys are moving together, Dragnar will say, "Well, might as well be careful," and starts kind of walking slowly here again. So he'll go ahead and stealth. So if all of you guys want to do one more round of stealth with the +10.
And this time I can add his D6, right, for him?
Yes. David got a natural 20. He disappears. He stabs all of you in the back. He kills all of you.
Oh no.
He was
22.
Simon all along. 22, nice. Okay. Oh no, Sige.
God damn it, Al. So it says that's a 12 then, right? So.
Yes.
Yeah.
12. Okay.
And I still gotta do mine. And does somebody want to do rocks?
No, he already did. He got 22.
Did he?
22.
Oh, you did? Okay, I didn't hear it. Sorry.
Sugi, stealth check. If you can. Don't sing
Yes,
yours.
yes.
Plus 10.
Oh, that was the last thing I typed. Where did it go?
Light green dice don't fail you.
Investigation, perception. There we go.
Hey!
Yeah.
Damn!
Definitely don't fail you.
Phew.
So we have a 20, we have a 33, a 34, and a 35.
Uh-huh.
Where'd the Leonin go? Oh shit!
Yeah,
And a
and
12.
David. Yeah,
And
David.
12.
And a 12. Yeah, okay.
Which is still, like,
Wow.
fine. It's just not great.
Yeah.
I just
So-
stepped on a stick, guys. Sorry. Keep going.
So as you guys kind of head on down.
Stub your toe and just go fuck
He-
really loud.
Yeah, he got that water from earlier in his shoes, so now every time he steps, it kind of makes a
Squish,
noise.
yep.
Oh,
It's not really loud, but everybody notices.
Yeah.
The entire party
Those-
winces every time.
Yeah, like,
Ew. Ooh.
come on.
That's too good. So as you enter the subterranean portions, this actually was a little bit more of a further drop than I was comfortable. None of you hurt yourselves, but as Dragdar drops down, he kind of calls out, "It's more of a drop." You actually fall about 10 feet. I'm not going to make y'all roll.
I mean, rock can fly, can feather fall anyway, right? So.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So you fall down, and you're back into the dark, and there's the light coming through the opening that you just fell in. Here, it almost looks like you're back in an underground portion, but it almost looks like you're inside of a structure. Like a structure may have been maybe underneath guarded or something. Because there's like a solid walls. It doesn't look nearly as forgotten as the previous portion. As you get your bearings about you, light sources begin to become illuminated with the hood lanterns, and you do see that there is another mark down the ways as the group you move together, keeping an eye out, keeping ears out. There doesn't seem to be any real activity. Dregnar and Karos and Zahid, you would note that there was definitely the signs of like one wet footprint. Exposed feet. Definitely looks humanoid, and just like they maybe stepped in a puddle when they were maybe leaving where you guys were. And then it quickly seems to dry off because up above it wasn't there was some moisture in the grasses and such above the plants. Continuing moving forward, illuminated. There's almost like where you guys, let's say, would walk 20 feet, 30 feet to the right. It then almost does like a 90-degree angle, and then you move to the right, well, again, taking a right, and then again. You just seem to almost be like working your way down. This repeats about not quite a dozen turns, but you are, Karos, you are feeling, and the group notices you are going in a downward trajectory. As you get here, you see that it does open up to almost like a T, and in the T there is a set of stairs to the left of you that will go down, and then there will be another. The T will continue to the right, almost going straight. So, what are you guys doing?
Anybody know any tricks, or are we?
I guess Dregnar
Yeah,
look,
I know.
see if kind of trying. I mean, he's not really a tracking kind, but he can use his survival skills to maybe look to see if there's been any particular activity recently in one way or the other.
And most of my useful skills for tracking is something that is for either people or things that I already seen or know.
Mhm.
So I can't really pinpoint a magic circle.
Yeah, just Dragnar will try and check for tracks, I
Alright.
guess.
Sure, let him do a survival check.
This is not a monk skill, I assume, right?
No, it's
Let
his
me double
Outlander,
check.
if I remember right.
Well, I'm just looking to see if I can do the Vanta Black. It's not, though. 26.
26. Okay. Surprisingly, even with the 26, there are the faint signs of footprints. Um, very faint. Whoever you guys are following, are pretty good about not being noticed, or covering up their tracks. It leads down the straight corridor. With a 26 total survival, as he's kind of looking around, kind of getting his bearings, he does see that the stairs down, there are the roots growing down along with the stairs. And that's maybe the one distinguishing feature, while the rest of this area that you guys were in immediately was kind of almost like untouched in a sense. So that's what he picks up. There are this slightest trail leading to the corridor, and then there are the roots leading down the stairs.
And he'll share it over the bond and see what everybody recommends, I guess.
I like Tree Path. It seems like they have an affiliation with it. The garden.
Okay.
Rock will say that's. Oh, I guess Rock, you're back, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Gotcha. I always have to check if I'm gonna roleplay for you or not. Gotta get it. So.
But I mean, you can continue with whatever you think you're going to say.
What does the omniscient GM think the Rock would say?
No, I might put him in the whole wrong direction.
That's just fair.
Like I have to think like what Rock would think. I would say Rock would probably go with the roots. He's like,
Yeah.
I like the roots. Just kind of start wondering.
What do the Whittons think?
The Whittons, which I don't actually know if that's what they're really called, but I don't know.
Which, by the way, if anybody wants to learn a word today, the word for so Houston is Houstonian, like New York is New Yorker, like that's called a demonym.
Yep.
So
Demonym.
Demonym, D-E-M-O-N-Y-M.
Word of the day.
Yep.
Zahid and them will say, well, if you wish, this may be an opportunity for us to split and see if we're able to cover more ground, and say we come back within the hour to this place.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we got that's about how long we got on this bond we got, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rush 2, just make sure say we make it back before it expires, hopefully.
Yeah.
Very well.
I guess if we get to a point where we can't reach each other, you should already be back.
Sounds acceptable. Since you are familiar with your colleagues, we'll take the corridor, the three of us, and we'll leave everything else to you, as you seem to have an interest to the roots.
Yeah. Is there any reason you don't want anybody to go with you, buddy? Like, there's 6 of us. We could have a couple people go with you.
It's very well. Dragnar will kind of step up. I'll go with him. Yeah. After all, I saw the footprints, and I want to see what's up.
Okay.
Tweet's gonna go with them too.
That's not a bad idea.
Who's going?
Pebble.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I didn't hear what you said. Okay, yep. So Pebble, Dregnar will join. Zahid. And they wander off. Dregnar waves, and they venture out of eyesight. You look, following the stairs, heading down.
Sorry, can I give Dregnar a casual bardic inspiration before he walks off?
Sure.
I'll just tell him, be sure to catch these ones as they fall.
He'll grin. He's like, I like them, so sure.
I was gonna keep the smile until Dregnar walks away.
But you see, he does like the shit-eating grin. You know, he's like, hey.
Does he have any other kind?
No, he's got one grin.
That's it. It's just that devilish shit-eating grin.
Yeah. So as you depart, and the 5 of them go one way, and the rest of y'all head down.
So how long is it? I mean, so he. I guess I'll just defer to you. Would he recast Pass Out a Trace for them? Because it's probably been about that long.
Oh, it's definitely been about a night. Yeah. Well, yeah, he could. Why
Okay,
not?
yeah, I'll do it. I was gonna say, it's just I just need to keep track of it.
Yeah, he's being cautious. Why not? So, they venture off. So what is the marching order going down? You guys can easily go. Right now, it looks like you guys can go 2 by 2 if needed, or one person go ahead and scout, or however you wish.
If somebody were to keep an eye out for traps while leading, is that usually perception? That's usually something else, right?
Usually.
Yeah, I mean, there's investigation, perception. Like, it depends on how you're looking for the trap. Like, if you're looking at a distance, you'd be like kind of seeing if something indicates that it looks funny. But in like the more immediate, it would be like investigation, just kind of,
Okay.
lightly touching the ground, or throwing pebbles in front of you to see if hit something.
Yeah, to me, perception is noticing something. Investigation is finding something.
Oh, it's actively.
Yeah.
Oh, finding something. Okay.
No, it's not active. Yeah, active is not the right word. So it's just
Right.
noticing, finding.
That's just the way I distinguish the two.
No.
I mean, I have good investigation and perception. I don't mind being.
Does nobody have the actual? Oh wait, hold on a minute, Al. Look at your goddamn neck.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him for help.
Jesus Christ! I was gonna say, does nobody have the actually good find traps materia spell? Oh wait a minute, yes, we have a thing that does.
He does, but
it is limited. I know, but
no, it's not that.
Go
ahead.
Oh, is he not attuned?
I'm not attuned.
Oh no!
I'm here for the damage. Oh yeah.
So like he will like activate, but he'll just be like for flavor he's activated, but he's not gonna do anything.
So he just flicks me off and goes back to sleep. I'm like, thanks, buddy.
Say hi.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing. I flick him back off.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I'll point to your mask and be like, do you really need that? Like, Hans could be quite a help right now.
I'll hold up the mask like to my chest, like, yeah, yes.
I mean, you don't have to get rid of it. I'm just saying, let Hans do his shit.
If y'all got
I mean, I'll do it. If you don't want, I'll take it. I could, and then I'll hold the trigger and be like, this isn't going to be doing any good right now, but if you want to give me Hans, I just figured he's your, you guys have a bond.
If you give me 10 minutes, I can swap it out.
Yeah, good.
I don't smell anything.
I mean, I don't want to take another item from you, but
So what are you? Go ahead.
You need to smell. I
Throughout
can
that,
help you.
Real quick, throughout that conversation, when he mentioned taking Hans, I also took Hans and held to my chest. And then and I'm just holding them all like, no.
Stop taking my shit.
Are you switching attunements?
Yes, I will. I think. Yeah, I'll detune from the Mangler's Mask and switch over to Hans. Is that 10 minutes?
Yeah, Denars, that's fine. So you can do it while you guys are walking. I'm changing it on your sheet so you can refresh it, because I'm actually on that, looking at that.
Yeah, that's why I was looking at the mask too. I was like, you don't need that.
I mean, you never know.
And have you ever attuned to the chime?
Yes, he's
okay. Oh, you used it. Okay.
I had a big moment with the 3 hags.
Oh shit! Okay, I don't remember that.
Saving it just for that. I was like, come on.
I think
I
you also
think-
used it, or some. Oh no, where we got it was in that alleyway fight, and that was used against us. That's where we got it from.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, now-
Okay. Oh, you guys, I like that. Oh yeah, remembering. Okay, cool.
That was like
Maybe
2 years
DM
ago almost.
that made DM feel kind of good. All right. So continuing forward, taking your time, walking forward, you do feel the bond, you know, reconnect with Hans. Hans activates,
That flip Hans
looks,
off.
skitters. He
It's,
flips
it's
off all of
literally
you. Yeah.
And also to
during
you.
the 10 minutes. Oh no. During the 10 minutes, I've just got my hands cupped and I'm just kind of staring at this thing while somebody taller than me is in front of me so I can follow them loosely.
Okay.
It's like, Hans, go on, focus,
Yeah.
focus. And he's
Okay.
back.
And he's back. Um.
We never really answered
so-
your marching order question. I don't
Yeah.
think.
I
No,
think
that's
I'll be towards the back person.
Yeah, I was gonna say Al and yeah, okay. I'll hang out. I'll hang out in the back.
I was gonna say I've got a +9 to investigation and perception.
Yeah, your perception's super good up too.
okay.
Okay.
So
And I'll be in the middle throughout.
okay, that works. I like that. All right. So with Rock and Karos taking the lead, heading forward, the architecture, I guess you would say, very much, very quickly goes back to how it was in the original portions of the underneath the city. And you are heading on a ways down, and as you are looking, you are still seeing roots make their way through what would be the ceilings, essentially. There is the signs of moisture because of the plants and everything, and there is a light being granted by Rock's light source and by Sej's dagger that he's got light cantrip on it as well. Well, marching together, Al, is Hans out in front? What is Hans doing? Is he?
Yeah, I'm holding him until the attunement is done, and then once
Yeah.
that's complete,
I'll say it's
yeah,
done. Yeah,
he'll be marching out in front. Yes.
marching out in front. Okay. Are you using anything of his right now, or just let him do his thing?
Sounds like the fine traps is a one big bang. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna hold on to that and just kind of let him
Understood.
do
Okay.
his thing.
Yeah. So
If he's keeping up, if he's investigating or doing his thing, I'm probably keeping an eye on him. Yeah, if he's checking
gotcha.
the floor, I'll check the ceiling, something like that.
No, that's what all I wanted to understand. Okay, cool. So Hans, your crawling cobalt claw friend, skitters around. While you guys are moving kind of in a slower pace, just in a darker area, he's going back and forth, like going up at the kind of up the side of some of the walls, letting go, dropping down, dropping down. Al, you're keeping an eye out. Karos, you're doing your best to, with Rock, get a good frontal scout. It's interesting because there's like almost like two types of architecture here. You guys have entered back into the older portion, but then it does kind of switch back about itself, and then you kind of get back to the newer architecture. And you walk a little bit further, and it does kind of switch back upon itself, and then you are going gradually down again. I should also state you do start hearing the sounds of like more trickling water, more akin to how it was in the cisterns and the waterways. And upon the second or third switchback, as Hans is out and active, and he has what was it called? He's good at finding hidden passageways, right? Because you're not technically wearing him, but it's still So
Yeah.
he would get up to one of the switchbacks, and then there will be a solid door, like closed off. That seems barred. It is a proper door down here. and he's just like itching at it. He's like, "Arr, arr, 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 arr."
Good find, Hans. Huh. Shall we? And I don't know, I guess I'll start fiddling with the handle and everything.
Seems locked.
I mean, I don't know if you want to punch this one, but
I was gonna cock a fist, but he's not gonna.
yeah, maybe not. You know, give me a shot at it.
I think
Hans is Thieves' Tools, but I also have Thieves'
There.
Tools. So I will try unlocking it. I am a proficient at Thieves' Tools.
Okay, go for it.
Alrighty, so just dex check.
Dexterity.
Yeah, okay. That's not good. That's a total of 10. It's a roll of 3.
Okay. You put your thieves' tools in, you kind of get down, look at it, find the locking mechanism.
It's been a while, and usually I'm not really unlocking doors. I'm just like jibbying open stuff like other people have locked up, but
either the locking mechanism is something different than you're accustomed to. Maybe it's not a Templar system. Also, even though like you said, you're rusty, it just and you don't want to break your tools.
I don't want to.
Go back.
If you keep going, you're gonna break it. Stop.
Yeah, no. It's just I'm not finding anything.
I'm not good at these things.
Hans has been scratching at the door the whole time, and I'm gonna ask him, "Do you wanna give it a shot? You might have to lead, buddy, but we can figure it out. Should we take a shot?"
He he jumps and grabs onto your pants and then starts skittering up.
Ah, that's a yes. Okay, let's give it a go.
Okay, so you take Hans, you give him 2 little like whatever, like I don't know what you have, like pins and that. And he takes them. He goes up there and you see.
So is Hans himself doing it now? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
God itself is considered thinker. Okay,
He conjures the mage hand as well to grab one of them, and he's just kind
of. Ah. Okay, then I'm providing my hand as a platform for him to work off of.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you can go ahead and make
nail or something that'll fit in there.
yeah, you can go ahead and make the check though. So
proficiency
plus dex.
Dex.
Plus dex.
So +8 to your d20.
Okay.
Wait, is it the claw's dex or is it his dex?
It's his dex.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool. 22 total.
Nice.
22, okay. So you start kind of like messing with the mechanism and trying to like bobby pin it, and the lock is different. There's something about it, and then Hans like just drops down, looks at the door, scuttles on over, and then he starts like scratching at like if there was like a brick or a panel like 2 or 3 steps over, and he starts digging like that. You kind of uncover it and look, and then you lift like almost like a false bottom, and there's just a little handle and a crank, and you turn it, and then you hear the door like old sediment, just dust kind of shake off, and there's like that little cascade of sediment. And you also, all of you see this like quick little faint blue discharge, and travels back into the room, and then the door opens.
Dude, did anybody see that? What was that? Is that like an alarm or something going off?
I was just kind of like bracing himself, but he's not like.
Also, if the people we're looking for came through here, probably wouldn't have been that like dusty and stuff, right?
Right. Yeah, so they wouldn't have taken this route.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad place to be going, but just probably not going to find the people we were looking, or we were thinking we were, quote unquote, following here.
I was gonna say, are we concerned about the people?
Not so much.
Beyond them, ambushing us.
I'll go to the bell and I'll be like, "Hey guys, we found a door. We had to unlock it. We went in. It kind of gave a little bit of a weird light, but we don't think the people we're looking after are here. So, but we're checking it out anyway."
The search for the circle continues.
Very well. Be safe. We
Oh, good. It still works. Whew.
tracks. Still, there seems to be more of a network over here. We'll
Do we
keep
need to be
posted.
concerned? Are you good?
We are okay.
Good.
More markings indicating. It looks as if they were indicating the people to travel in the direction that we came from.
Well, if you don't hear from us shortly, check on us.
Absolutely. So as the door opened, there is, after this little bit of mental discussion, there is another, you can continue walking further away from the door if you wish, but as it is open, there is a like wind kind of rushing, maybe, wind that's been sealed in, escaping
It's
after
like
a long time.
positive pressure type thing.
Perhaps,
Okay.
So you do hear that, like the wind kind of readjusting, the air readjusting. And it's dark in here, and as who's is it still the same marching order? So you guys kind of step back, and then Karos and Rocky kind of step forward again.
Sure.
Works for me.
Okay.
So it's really dark. I got a few. Can I pop a detect magic before we're walking?
Sure.
Boom.
You cast detect magic. Your eyes glow up. Go ahead and mark off the spell slot.
Yep.
And I just realized we didn't take a break, so we'll probably take a break here in a second. I apologize, and I didn't actually realize what time it is because I am.
It's almost like it's been a couple
so
weeks
off,
since you've done this.
Yeah, I'm so off of DMing that it just doesn't feel like it's been that long, but I guess it has been that long. It's like that nervous energy. It's been a month. So you guys kind of walk
Get
forward,
real.
and your you look at Al's eyes and they glow.
It'll be your
Hans
secrets.
continues scuttering in front with Rock and Karos looking before you. And Rock and Karos, you would see, as you were the first two to kind of enter the room, you do see like that very faint blue trickle just starting to dissipate in the distance of like the energy. Al, as you are trying to detect magic, and you're kind of peering and looking around with what light sources you have, there is, excuse me, you do get a ping of magic. Let me look at the school real quick. I forgot to tell you what school it was. I forgot to note down what school it was. Sorry. Excuse me. And the majority of the room has a thrum of, I would say not even a thrum, just as ever slight pulse of conjuration magics.
Okay.
So.
I'll let the party know that there's like a hint of a hint, possibly even of a hint of magic, like residue here, which is new for the catacombs. When we first entered, not catacombs,
Mm.
the underground. When we first entered, I didn't pick up anything. No, wait. I don't think I picked up anything when we first entered.
Mm-mm. You didn't.
Okay.
Now that there's your other friends are walking in, there are light sources. You'll see that this is a we'll call it a, we'll do easy dimensions. It's like a 60-foot cylindrical chamber, and as you look up, it does go up almost the entirety of the way that you guys have traveled down, and no signs of roots or anything breaching through this space. You do see that there is some damage in some of the wall and the structure, kind of leading into like almost like maybe like a cave entrance, looking like cave entrances. Like things could, there's holes in walls that maybe if there was something beyond there, they can emerge or stay or hide in. And those are about 20 or 30 feet up before when you start seeing the first set of those or so.
Okay. Do those have like a pattern to them? Like they're
No,
symmetrical
it
and
just
everything? It's just okay.
looks like the wall is just either like given way or crumbled or something.
Okay. So it's not by design, it's just part of the structure.
Time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone that is proficient in Arcana, you can give me an Arcana check, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll discern how long we're gonna go for part 2.
18.
No. Okay, that's not bad. Anyone else doing an Arcana?
I ain't got
Not
much
me.
Arcana.
No.
Yeah, not me either.
All right, cool. That's fine. Right. So with that 18 Al, because you've been actively studying what has caused you to come down here in the first place, conjuration is the school that is often associated with teleportation circles. So looks like maybe you're on the right path.
Okay, okay.
Okay. And it's 11:20. We haven't taken a break. I'm so sorry. So let's go ahead and take a break. And while we're on break, I need to know how long do people want to play tonight? Do we want to go like another hour? Are people tired? Are people happy to be playing D&D and want to do a slightly longer session than normal? What is the idea?
I could go for like another hour and a bit. I got me some family coming up tomorrow, but not too early. But
Okay.
That sounds pretty good.
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
So let's try for a 10 to 15 minute break. So hopefully 10.
So 11:30, 11:35 ish.
Yeah, 30, 35.
Sweet.
And